I just finished reading Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. This is my third Cormac McCarthy novel. I read The Road, The Passenger, and I'm a huge fan of westerns. So going into Blood Meridian, I was excited. I'm still excited to talk about it because this is considered by many to be his best novel, but that's subjective. You're going to have other people say otherwise, so it's really just a big debate. McCarthy is one of the best novelists of our time, and his grammar, the way he writes, is totally unique unto himself. So, being a fan of Westerns, I approached Blood Meridian, and it was released in the 80s, I think 1984, 1985. And so we have the main protagonist. I'm not going to get into big spoilers, just give you a little bit about what the book is about. The protagonist, his name is just the boy from Tennessee. He's 14 when he ends up on his own and makes it to Texas around the 1840s to 1850s. And there, this novel depicts a rough West, a Western rugged frontier that's just realmed in chaos. It's a dark place. I think some people romanticize the West as being this great American place to go and visit. In the 1820s, up until literally the 1900s, it was hell on earth. The conditions that people lived, the poverty, the corruption. You have to understand those areas, especially when this book takes place in the 1840s and 1850s, that is unsettled land. That is everyone out for themselves. Everyone's wearing a gun on their hip. Most people are in poverty. There is no law and order. There is no democracy. So, what people do for a living, most people who end up out west, like the boy here from Tennessee, our main character, they're in poverty. They have nothing. They have nothing but the actual clothing on their backs. You know the old saying, just me and the clothes on my backs. Well, that's literally the 1800s in the 1840s and 50s. So there's mass poverty. We're not even in the Civil War yet. But what we do have are Native American tribes at war with manifest destiny, Western settlers moving westward. And that's where the boy encounters the villain of the story. We'll call him Judge Holden. And they're just a ragtag group of bounty hunters, scalp hunters specifically. They hunt scalps. And so the towns that they come across, the Western plateau of just chaos and greed and envy. It's like every deadly sin, you hear of the seven deadly sins, they're all out west. So when the boy and his adventures, what he encounters is just insane. So it's really good at depicting this dark place that is the American West. I really liked it. I could see why it's considered to be his best novel. But having grown up reading Westerns, there is a special author that has a soft place in my heart, and that's Larry McMurtry. So coming into this, for me, Lonesome Dove is always going to be the best Western ever. It's going to be hard to compete with that book. If you've never read Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry, it, in my opinion, is the best Western of all time. It's one of my top favorite novels of all time, period. Like it's literally it's in my top three. It might even be number one. That's how good Lonesome Dove is. And of course, Larry McMurtry has a Lonesome Dove series. I've read 3 of the 4 books in the Lonesome Dove series. I've read Lonesome Dove, Comanche Moon, and Dead Man's Wake. There's only one more book left in that series for me to read, and that's Streets of Laredo. But even those other 2 books that I have read compared to Lonesome Dove, don't compare to Lonesome Dove. Lonesome Dove is a masterpiece. That is Larry McMurtry's magnum opus. And so, does Blood Meridian, is it good enough to compete with Lonesome Dove? Absolutely. This book, you will love this book if you love Westerns. If you love dark, deep descriptions of what things are being encountered, what's to come, suspense. Cormac McCarthy is the same one who wrote the screenplay for No Country for Old Men, in case you didn't know that. So Blood Meridian, very pleased with it. It's literally a quick read. It's like 250 pages to 300 pages. I loved every second of this book. Cormac McCarthy is one of my favorite authors. I'm still surprised at how good The Passenger was about a month ago. I read The Passenger Really good stuff. The Road is one of the best dystopian novels of all time. That was the first McCarthy book that I was introduced to. Loved every second of that book. It was incredible. I haven't watched the movie that stars Viggo Mortensen. In case you didn't know, Viggo Mortensen from Lord of the Rings and Hidalgo is the main protagonist in that movie, in that story. But Blood Meridian, you should definitely check it out if you like Westerns. I'm not going to say it's the best Western of all time because, like I said, Lonesome Dove is go ask the average person who's read Lonesome Dove what they think. You're going to see many book reviews on here. I should have made a review years ago. I wasn't on YouTube yet at that time. I wasn't even on TikTok. When I discovered Lonesome Dove, I said, this book is epic. Absolutely epic. So, is Blood Meridian the best of all time? I would say no, only because you have Lonesome Dove above it. I will say it might be, for me, the second best Western of all time, in all honesty. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if a movie version has ever been done of this book, a movie adaptation, but it would be interesting. But who would you get to play that cat? I think I could think of some actors off the top of my head that would make a good cast for Blood Meridian. But if you enjoy Westerns, Cormac McCarthy is great. I will say this, the brutality in this book, the descriptions of the brutality and the violence is top notch in this book. Not that you always like reading about that kind of stuff, but if there's somebody who could get an award for describing violence, it's Cormac McCarthy. But so is Larry McMurtry from Lonesome Dove. He's also really gifted at it. So I think if you're into Westerns and you love Cormac McCarthy's style, Blood Meridian is the book. That is the actual book to best describe Cormac McCarthy. But, you know, he's such a good author, McCarthy, that everything he's written that I've read so far is good. So the guy was just way ahead of his time. He is considered one of the greatest for a reason. So I highly recommend reading Blood Meridian. I'm not going to get into spoilers other than the boy is from Tennessee. He's 14 years old. And Judge Holden, the villain, is one of the most brutal, sadistic, evil villains in novel history. But that's what McCarthy's good at. He's great at creating villains. So highly recommend Blood Meridian. I would give it a 5 out of 5 for originality. It's definitely its own thing. And let me know in the comments if you've read Blood Meridian. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. If you liked what you watched, I plan on doing more book reviews, movie reviews, television show reviews, and just vlogs in general. I'd really like your support and your viewership. It would mean a lot. But again, let me know in the comments what you thought of Blood Meridian. I'm curious to know your thoughts. I would give it a 5 out of 5 for originality. Thanks for watching if you made it this far.